G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm David. Today, not this tree. It's funny, I've been looking at this tree for a little while. Seen it on the channel not long ago. Tried to change the style on it. Tried to make it grow wider and lower, like a big wide banyan ficus, or yeah, I don't know. Cut some branches back. Didn't reshoot. I sort of knew that was going to be an issue. Benjamina ficuses don't really like to shoot from branches that have no other leaves on them, so sort of been scratching my head a bit, wondering what I should do with this tree. And just a short conversation I had with a bloke online, Banner, over in Jamaica, I think he is. Sorry, Banner, if that's not where you're from. I think he's over that way somewhere. Of a beautiful big ficus that was in his local area. Anyway, I had a bit of a conversation with him and mentioned that I was doing this tree, and he sort of said that it wasn't probably the best tree for that style, and that there was other varieties or species that would probably be better suited, which I sort of already knew, but it sort of didn't click until I actually had that short conversation that I've got other species of ficus here. Why don't I bloody use them? So today, we're not going to do this tree. We're going to work on a bloody neglected Port Jackson fig, Ficus rubignosa, that I've had growing on my bench for God knows how long, and haven't really been taken care of, as you can see. But the Port Jackson fig I know gets used in bonsai quite a bit. It does have larger leaves. They will reduce down, I believe, and it will probably respond better to what I want to do with it. I'm going to stick with the root over rock style. I don't know, I like the root over rock. I think it adds something, especially to a ficus. I'm not a huge ficus fan. They just always look a little bit, I don't know how you'd say it, but they look a little bit, fuck, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. They look a little deformed, grotesque. I don't know. The bases are just always have that big, fat, overgrown look to them. There's very few ficuses that just look like a natural tree. Like if you see a big ficus out in nature, they don't have that grotesque, fat look generally. They still look very tree-like, even though they may have huge trunks. The ones in bonsai don't generally look like that for some reason. But, so that's why I go with the root over rock. I think it just adds a little something that I prefer to just a ficus. Yeah. So anyway, I've got a rock, I've got a pot, I've got a ficus, I've got a shitload of ants coming out of the pot. We'll get him out of the pot, take some soil off, and we'll see what he looks like under the soil. Ooh, those ants are cranky. Oh wow. Oh, here we go. I may have to soak this pot for a while to remove the angry ants, because there is a massive colony. Give me a bit. I'm going to stick that in a bucket of water and soak it for a bit. I'll be back. Rightio. We're back from trying to drown the ants. I don't know that we were all that successful. I've actually recorded a whole nother video while I was trying to drown these things. So it's been a while, but they're still cruising around. I think we're just going to have to put up with them. Not much more to tell. I'm going to throw some tunes on while I get all the soil and angry ants out of this. May take me a while. See how we go. But we'll do it in fast forward because I hate sitting watching tedious things and I don't like making people watch tedious things. See yous in a bit. Oh no, that's bloody hard work. So all that dirt is just mud now and it's very difficult to get out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duck up, hit it with the hose, try and wash as much of that out as we can with the hose. And then I'll come back. Rightio. We are back. We have an absolute tangled mess. But what I'm going to start with, bloody snail, just going to go through some of these lower down roots here and see what's tucked in behind them. Try and find out where there's a nice angle to look at the trunk. And then we can prune away some of those roots to expose that trunk if we wish. We've got this big root that sort of wraps around, whether we want to make that a feature. So we can see that crease. I don't know, we need to just sort of have a bit of a look and see what we've got. Because it does flare out this side quite a bit. So it might be something that we can utilise. And we also need to see what's up in under here because we'll have to trim a lot of that. There's a lot of thick trunk or thick roots up in there that we're going to have to trim back because we want this thing to sit on a rock. So that root's way too big to remove, I reckon. So it's going to have to be a part of the tree somehow. If we have a bit of a look at the rock, sort of figured the rock would end up going like that. There's nothing super special about the rock, but it does have a bit of a groove that runs down here that I thought maybe we could run a root down in there. Maybe another one down over here somewhere. So I wonder if maybe if we could position that over, maybe if a continuation of that root could be the one that runs down there. I mean, that's probably doable. It's going to involve a hell of a lot of chopping of the roots in the middle of the root ball, but you're going to have to do that anyway as a root over rock to get it to sit on that rock. So I think I'll have a bit of a chew away in the middle here and we'll have a look after that and see what we've got. Being pretty savage with these roots because I really need to get it sitting in the right place. Actually, there's one there. It's sitting in the right place, I reckon. So I'll just cut that off. You can see we've chewed right up into the base to give it somewhere to sit. We'll probably have to actually I will take that one off the back, wherever he's grown from. Big thick root. That gives us something to sit on the rock. I don't know if it's apparent yet. This root here, down to here, will sort of grow where I want it to grow in that gap. Everything else we can work at as we go. So that's going to be how that tree is going to sit, which I think will work okay. Have we got it down far enough? Probably pretty close. Just trimming away a few bits and pieces here and there to try and get it sitting the way I would like it to sit. It's probably actually not too bad like that. Again, I seem to have picked a rock that wants to just topple forward. We'll prop that up once we get it in the pot. And then we'll tie it all into position. I reckon we're going to try and clean a lot of these roots up a bit to give the trunk a bit of a cleaner look. Don't know if that's necessarily what we should be doing, or if I should just be encouraging those aerial roots. I just don't know. Right, I think what we'll do, we'll get the rock set up in the pot. Now the rock, it's not going to be sitting right on the bottom of the pot on this one. We won't really see the rock, so I'm going to put some soil underneath it. I reckon we'll go with something like that. Let's look. Maybe lean it back a little bit. Maybe. And then if we position that, the tree over it. I reckon we're just going to have to plant it as is. Give it a couple of months to settle in. And then once it's settled into position, we'll take the tie-in wires off and we'll start to reduce the roots, I reckon, one by one. I think it's going to be a little bit difficult to... Yeah, we probably don't want to take all those roots off right now. I reckon we'll do that after the fact. So we'll get this thing settled in. Righto, so that's probably about it for today. All these roots out here, they're all in the ground, in the soil. So they should grow no problem. I'm going to leave it a couple of months until I see decent growth again, which shouldn't take too long. Once this ficus realises that it's got free rein with its roots, it should just explode again. Once that happens and once it starts to set itself in that pot so it's not going to move around, we will revisit it, take off the tie-in wires and thin all these roots out and just work out which ones we actually want to keep. Because as it is at the moment, obviously you can't see the rock too much and we want the rock to be some sort of a feature for it. Yeah, so one by one, we'll just thin, we might take a dozen roots off, let it grow for another month, take another dozen off, and just thin them out bit by bit until we end up with, I don't know, a tree like this, maybe only half a dozen, 6, 8, 10 roots maybe around the whole tree going into the ground. It's probably all you need. And then, once it's healthy, I want to try and get it to bud down lower and get some big spreading branches. Ultimately, that's the reason I'm doing this, is I want that big, wide ficus like you see in the wild. So that's the aim, with a bit of rock in it as well. So yeah, check back in a couple of months and we'll see how she's settled in. If you're watching, Banner, thanks for the inspiration, mate. I don't know why I didn't think to get off my ass and do something with these Port Jackson figs. I've got a couple of them actually, as well as that little native, New South Wales native Henniana. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't think to actually do something with it, but yeah, our little convo sort of gave me the push, and here it is. We'll see how it goes. So thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.